Greetings, exceptional people. How are you today? Or this evening? Or this afternoon? Or it's not quite tomorrow. I don't think there's any place in the realm that it's tomorrow yet. Um, but how are you? How is everyone? Are we having fun yet? Let's see. Who do we have in the house? Uh-oh, where's Michael? Uh-oh, when Michael's not at the top, send out an APB. All right, Monica Farrow. Monica's here. Mary Grether's here. Hi, Mary. Veronica's barn. Beautiful photo. That is Lake Tahoe. Sunrise over Lake Tahoe, which is a pretty amazing lake. I'm keeping an eye on the Zaka Lake fire, which is up to 26,000 acres. Hopefully, people and animals are getting out safely. Go Cal Fire. You know, I used to live in California, and I used to watch these fires. In fact, I was part of a fire one time. If you've never been part of a fire, it is a freaky thing. So I began to research fires and how they fight fires. And one of the things that I ran across is that the Russians had these enormous cargo planes, biggest cargo planes in the world. And they had figured out how to retrofit these cargo planes with water. And these are really large craft. And these cargo planes would take off, and then they would dump the water out like planes do. But it wasn't just like a regular dump. I mean, this was a torrential dump of water. And I said to myself, if I was governor of California, I would own two of these planes, and I would actually hire a Russian crew to come over and maintain and fly the planes. That's what I would do. I'd buy them from the Russians, and then I would use them on the California fires, because one of those planes was worth at least three of these other planes that they have. And so you could just fly one of these planes a couple of times over a fire and do some serious damage to the fire. But I think a little differently. What's happening? Nora Rashid, the Queen of Speed. She is here with us today. Did we really get here before the mods? Yes, you did. Somebody put in a phone call to Michael. I'm concerned. Green-eyed crow. It's going to be a hot one here. It has been over 100 degrees since the 4th of July. That's 6 days now in Oregon. And meanwhile, here in Texas, we've been in like the 90s, which is really temperate for us. Tom Jordan coming at you live from the sunroom or the living room, but not that far from where we are, where I am. Orlando, I am about halfway through my morning cup. Here's to you, Queen of Scream. Let's see. There she is, the lovely and talented one, Dr. Jonas. Who else do we have here? Sorry, Smy McMahon. What's happening? Brittany Lake, good morning. Rainbows and butterflies. Miss Nikki. My man Steve. Is there a laugh? The immortal, mortal. Harriet Bowie. Okay, now this is a different kind of day. When Scott shows up before Christina and Michael, Sister Nino is not here, it is a different kind of day. What's going on, Scott? Brittany Lee, Sandra Wells in the house. What's happening, cuz? Here he is. 8:01 a.m. Michael, we're worried about you. No, you don't. Bonjour from Sizzly Nice. I guess they have a little heat wave going on in there in the south of south of France. South of France. Sandy D. Hey, Sandy D. Moon Sprouts. I just saw Mark's FB post about the new book he's created. Yes, Mark, our good friend Mark S., has put together a tremendous book on the human condition and the human mind. And he sent me a copy last night. We had a good chat. And he'll be on the show in the next few weeks to break down his passion work. Misbehaving too. Steve had some tech issues yesterday with his guest, but they are rescheduling. My voice sounds great. This is my morning voice. As the day wears on, it changes tenor and tone. All right, let's see who else we have here. Finca Feliz. Oh, isn't it Lynn's birthday today? Isn't it Lynn's birthday today? I think it's Lynn's birthday. Now, I'm pretty sure that Lynn sent me like a list of birthday songs, but unfortunately, I can't find them. However, that said, I am going to, at this point, find a birthday song for Lynn and play it just for her. Lynn, you have made another year in the realm. And congratulations for doing that. It is not always an easy thing to maintain one's physical self, mental self, emotional self, and all the other selves, so that you can be here to experience another go round. All right, so let me find a good song for Lynn here. What do we got? Lynn, you know who you're going to get today? Here you go. Lynn, you get Kermit the Frog. You get Kermit the Frog. This is for you, Lynn, also known as Finca de Feliz.
Oh, hi ho, Kermit the Frog here. I didn't see you there. Wait, there's something a little different about you. No, don't tell me. Let me guess. New clothes? No. New haircut? No. Oh, that's right. It's your birthday! Of course, I didn't forget. Now, if you'll let me, I'm just about to sing you the best birthday song you'll ever hear. From the one, the only, Kermit the Frog. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to the most amazing, most beautiful, most special, most everything person in the world. Happy birthday to you. There. Did you like that? I just want you to know that I love you, and I hope you have the best birthday ever. Happy birthday! Yay! Well, I guess that's it.
There you go, Lynn. A little Kermit the Frog for you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Let's see. Who else do we have? My man Ryan. What's going on, Ryan? Moira from NYC is here. Did I say hi to Moonsprout? You did it twice. Now the cargo planes are filled with red and pink fire retardant. That sounds gay. That sounds gay and retarded. Red and pink fire retardant. Yes, you can buy me a coffee if you like right there. You can do that. Thank you, Ryan. Also hit the like, please. It always helps. Let's see who else do we have. Soul Traveler. Soul Traveler. Harry Bowie. Hey. Patty Kincaid checking in from Virginia. What's going on? Road trip 1981. Kelly B. Hope you're hydrated. Phoenix Rises. Person yellow, podium blue. Hi, Sharon Lewis. There he is. There's the man of the moment. His ears must have been burning. Mark S. We look forward to having him on the Friday Farcast. Jill Wong checking in from Mexico. I'll take a 5.5 earthquake any day. Yeah, the fires, man, if you live through a fire, oh boy. Where did I get my hat? I got it from Amazon. There is a company on Amazon that sells these. Here, let me see if I can find it. We are a full service station here. You ask, and we give it back to you. So it is a company called Capiche. And they actually have a lot of caps, more than just this one. And I will be more than happy to put it in the comments section. Capiche. There you go. Boom. Suntrekker Thompson. Excellent live stream yesterday. Thank you for the wonderful advice. Well, you're welcome. You are welcome. Good to see you, Suntrekker. Scrubbies. What's going on, Tamara? All right, who else do we have? Anybody new? Claire is here. Hi, Claire. Cinderolatide. Cinderolatide. You made it live. You did. Welcome. Let's see. Who else do we have here? Catherine Kramer, double K, lives outdoors is here. Catherine Rosen. Hi, Catherine. Greetings. Big Dave Sullivan. Checking in. SP Dimples, the bestest chat in the world. Let me put a highlight on that one. I'd agree with you 100%. 100,000%. Let's see. I sent Robert a great video. I'll post it on Truther Tribe. All right. Go over there on Truther Tribe. Check it out. Curtis Moonflower, my man. What's going on, brother? Joan W. wishes Lynn a happy birthday. She loved Kermit the Frog. All right. Good choice. Good choice. Let's see. Who else do we have here? Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Going PB. Cassandra Lynn. I think we're getting close to the end of the chats. I'm going to put my link in there. Laura E. I ran a load of laundry at my friend's house yesterday during the show. It was all chatty here. Went over to hang out online. Had to flood the house. Forgot to put those in the sink. What a mess. I hope today's a better day when it comes to the details. Let's see. Catherine Sobchak. What's going on, Kathy? We got a Terry Catterley sighting. Hi, Terry. Carol Moore. You can't get there from here. That's one of my favorite REM songs. I love that song. I think we're caught up. Oh, Janice the Gem has arrived. We can now start the show. Thanks, Janice. All right, let's get into some Astro Weather. You know, I was thinking more about Amanda Knox yesterday. And so here's my takeaway on Amanda Knox. I think that they were involved in some kind of weird ritualistic shit at that house. That's what I think happened. Like there was like some weird ritualistic shit. I think there's clearly I think there were drugs involved. Um and I think that guy Rudy Guede probably did most of the stabbing of Meredith Kircher, but I don't think he was alone. That's what it feels like. And I was looking at a picture of Amanda Knox yesterday because she had just gone back to Italy to deal with this defamation trial of Patrick and Lumumba. It's like she can't get away. She can't get away from this thing. I mean, she was just there in June. And if you look on the inside of her arm, she has what looks like a sigil. I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Amanda Knox is into magic, dark magic. All right, let's get into the chart of the day, the moment, the now. Let's bring it into the now. There's that moon in Virgo. I mean, technically speaking, we don't see the line, but there should be a line between the moon and the sun. There should be a sextile line at 7 degrees. So I would say in 2 to 3 hours from now, we'll have that moon sun sextile going on. But right now, we have the Virgo moon squaring off against that Jupiter and Gemini. And it alternates between optimism and how would I describe this Virgo moon? Disgruntled perfectionism. What do I mean by that? Disgruntled perfectionism is that you are the person who has to pick up the slack or take care of the things that other people are oblivious to and do not take care of or care about. That's what today's moon feels like a little bit, right? It's opposing Saturn in Pisces. You know, the moon in Virgo, I've always attributed the moon in Virgo to Cinderella, right? The one who stays after the party to pick up the ashes. But of course, the little ash girl turns into a beautiful princess, right? So that's always the payoff of the Virgo moon, right? Your hard work and your at times unappreciated service pays off, and someone will come along and notice the true value of who you are, right? But it feels like this is one of those days where you have to pick up the slack for others, which isn't always fun. It's not always fun. But at least in the early part of the day, as we transition into the latter degrees this evening, we're going to have the moon sextiling in on Cancer. So this, to me, if you're into arts and crafts and sort of just doing things around your place, this is a great moon for that. But I would wait until after you do everybody else's work to get to that. But it really is a wonderful moon for that. So if you're into whatever canning or sewing, whatever, right? Anything that's going to be sort of domestic and allows you to focus on the application of details. It's a good day for that. Very good day for them. By the time we get into the evening and even tomorrow, which is going to be more tomorrow, actually, that moon's going to come in sextile with Venus. And I think you could have some very constructive yet delicate conversations with people where things that need to be said can be heard. But don't do it yet. I would wait a day at least. And I think you could have some very uh, provident and healing conversations. Um, and but today, I would say if you have to carry the burden and the weight of others, just get it done. And if you really want to, if you're like a hobby person or a craft person, later this afternoon, early this evening, just turn your phone off and shut the world down and immerse yourself in something that allows you to kind of stop time. I think this is a later on in the day. It's really, really good for that. Uh, there's a bit of distraction with this Moon Jupiter square. Even if you have to work or again pick up the slack for others, it feels like there's lots of fires to put out. There's that fire theme. Lots of fires to put out with Jupiter squaring the moon. And it's hard to focus. It really is hard to focus. But just stay with it. Stay with the task at hand, right? Don't get too don't spread yourself thin. I think that's a theme until about uh 5 p.m. We'll go 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't spread yourself too thin. Stay on point. And you may not get the reward or the warm and fuzzies that that perhaps you might be looking for, maybe not directly but indirectly. You may not get it today. Like today you just have to take care of business. But again, I think this evening is great if you just want to immerse yourself in your craft. You'll get a lot done. You'll be very productive. Very, very productive. Um, what else do we have here? We've got Mercury and Leo, and we got the sextile with Jupiter. Talk, 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 talk. Talk, 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 talk. Candace Owens, she got into some hot territory yesterday. Candace Owens, in an interview, had the temerity to question the Holocaust. Candace Owens has become, I think, one of the most amazing truth warriors I've seen over the last couple of years. Right, watching the metamorphosis of Candace Owens once she got booted out of Ben Shapiro's world has been like, whoa. Well, I'm going to talk about Candace Owens over on 15 minutes, right? That is that Mercury and Leo sextile Jupiter. There's a lot of audacity there. And I picked up on Naomi Wolf's comments over on Twitter. How could somebody so bright and intelligent have such a backward view? And it's like, Naomi, I'm sorry. Everything is on the table. Everything is on the table. We're at this point now where once you open Pandora's box and you start to question everything, you just can't say, well, we can't question this. Or we can't re-examine this. No, it's all on the table right now. Right? I mean, if we are going again, this is all theoretical. If we're going to move ahead as a quote unquote society, right? If we're going to move ahead, then we need to be able to address certain things and to be able to have honest conversations, whether it's about race or sex or identity or history. Like it's really important. Very important. Get it all out on the table and let the chips fall where they may. To me, that's the Mercury Jupiter sextile right there. It's a bold pronouncement on Candace's part. And, it's also re-examining the roots of the war and how they got there in World War One. And it's all in the mix. We're looking at the Biden family. And it's like, okay, well, who are these people? Where did they come from? Right. I talked about the Rasputin of the Biden family yesterday over on 15 minutes. And it's like, let's take a look at that. Everything's on the table. Trump's on the table. It's all on the table, as far as I'm concerned. So there's going to be a lot of dramatic pronouncements today. Very dramatic pronouncements. Got plenty of that. Lots of hot wind in the air, for sure. Fire and air are combustible. We have Venus coming in with a nice sextile right there to Mars, and that it's beauty and grace, which is Venus, is dancing with a force of nature, with Mars and Taurus. So I think this aspect really encompasses and values aesthetics. So that gets into the craft stuff, right? So it's not just crafty, but it's aesthetic. Like today's one of those days where if you're in pursuit of beauty, we got a nice aspect here, and we have this Venus sextile with Uranus, which we've been going through the last couple of days, and that's encounters and unusual meetings with people that pop in out of nowhere, right? The random call or the random encounter down at the grocery store, right? That's your Venus Uranus sextile. And it can lead to some very interesting understanding about the human condition. And it always is, I think, an enlightening exercise when you step outside your comfort zone and the person that you're having a conversation with is different than you are. I had one yesterday with my new mechanic, Mark, who owns the shop down the road. This guy can talk. Holy shit, can he talk? And he was telling me about all of his ideas for the area that we live in. He says, see that hill over there? See that hill over there? I said that we should put a zip line over there. We should put a zip line and we should put picnic tables and people could go up there and they could come down the zip line. They could use that as a park. I'm like, man, I like this. What other ideas do you have, Mark? He had all these ideas. Then he told me about a house on the other side of the highway where they eventually busted and raided, and they were dealing fentanyl, and they had women in cages. How about that? That was an unusual Venus Uranus sextile moment. Oh, we got women in cages across the highway. Isn't that interesting? Makes you wonder what really goes on in towns across America, right? Like, there is a lot of shit that happens that we don't know about. And it's like, oh, thanks for sharing that, Mark. But that's the Venus Uranus sextile. You learn something new from somebody that's a little bit different than you, and it's not always a bad thing. We talked about this yesterday as well. Venus coming in and trining Neptune, and I really like this aspect. It kind of softens the contours and the edges of the world, makes relating a little bit easier, a little bit kinder, a little bit gentler. The claws they're not out, right? The claws aren't out, which is good, which is very good. Because a lot of we have been socially engineered to be hyper attenuated and at times even paranoid, which is sad, right? We've had to get to this point where we just really can't trust a whole lot. That was one of the things about COVID. It just busted so much trust. Trust in our officials, trust in the medical establishment, trust in your local merchants, even trust in your own family. COVID was a trust buster, man. And what it did is it set up this field of hyper attenuation. And to me, we can get a little bit of that with that Venus square with Chiron, although Venus is coming off that square. I never really let my guard down. I have a pretty well developed filter that allows me to be interactive with the world, but also keep the world at a particular distance. Right? It's something that I've worked hard at cultivating. Um, but today's one of those days where I would say, you know, compassion, kindness, empathy. These are not expressions of weakness with a day like today, and even tomorrow as Venus goes into that anaretic degree of Cancer. That degree feels like, especially in trine with Neptune, because let's talk about this, right? Next year when we have Venus in Cancer, I'd have to look at the ephemeris. But next year, Neptune goes into Aries, right? So when Venus goes into Cancer next year, it's not going to necessarily have the same effect. I mean, it may wind up being in a trine, but it'll be out of sign or out of element, fire to water, which is kind of interesting. So it feels like this is kind of an important Venus transit in that the things that you can share and say and communicate with another person where there's flow and depth and meaning. I'm not saying that you won't be able to do that in the future, but why waste the aspect? Why waste the aspect? If there's somebody that you care about or somebody that you love or somebody that you want to recognize and just say, hey, I really appreciate you. This Venus trine with Neptune is really good. It's really, really good. And then Venus will be in Leo, and then everybody else can, think about themselves and how much love they're getting or not getting. But there's a brief respite here, and I really like it. It is a kinder, gentler expression of Venus. So I would say take advantage of it. And if there's somebody important in your life that you need to tell them that, they matter, today's the day to do it. Tomorrow's not a bad day either. You got 24 hours. Get your soft side in. And then Venus moves into Leo, and it's a very different expression. All right, what else? Looks like Jupiter is about ready to move away from Pluto. So I think the peak of the Jupiter-Pluto trine was peak Bitcoin, right? I think Bitcoin hit its peak, and now it's been going down. It's been going down, which is typical of Bitcoin. You got to ride the wave. If you're in Bitcoin, you're a big wave surfer. That's how that works. Pallas has gone direct. We had Pallas in Scorpio retrograde. Now it's gone direct. And Pallas in Scorpio is, I look at the incident with my truck, and that was Pallas retrograde. And I probably should have done reviews on those guys. I should have looked at the reviews. I went and looked at the reviews. I'm like, oh man, these dudes sounds like assholes. But I'd asked other people in town, like, what do you think of them? Oh, yeah, they do good work. Oh, that's a place to take your vehicle. So get more than one source. Get more than one source. And it's really hard to find good, competent people to work on your vehicles these days. I remember one time, long time ago, I don't know who said it to me, but they said hello. But they said, if you can find a good mechanic and a good lawyer, then you are doing well in your life. You needed to have both those things, a good mechanic and a good lawyer. I think that there's some truth to that. Good mechanics are hard to find. Hey, look who's here. Look who's joining us. Little Miss Peach. Yeah, here she is. Jasper was here earlier. He decided to tap out. I'm not sure why. But all right, let's get into our star of the day. And I'm just going to go to the star of the day. Graphic here. And as you look at our star of the day, you'll see the banner, and the banner is essentially telling you to go over to truehempscience.com, where if you would like the salutary and health benefits of CBD, you can go there and check it out. And if you spend $100 or more, you can get a free goodie bag with your purchase. I know a lot of you took advantage of that sale that that Chris had, so you'll be able to experience the product up close and personal in a way, and it will help you make your decision moving forward about having CBD become a part of your life, a daily part of your regimen. He's got sleep gummies. He's got Moonlight. The Moonlight is worth the price of admission. Just saying. And he has a number of other elixirs that are there specifically to help you with things like inflammation and kind of resetting your your cellular function. Really good stuff. So you go to truehempscience.com, type in 15MINS if you spend $100 or more, and you'll get the free goodie bag. $150 more gets you free shipping, and there's always a 30-day money-back guarantee. All right. Kind of slim pickings on the THS front, but today's star of the day is David Brinkley. And some of you who are old enough will remember David Brinkley as a longtime newsman who shared the camera with a guy by the name of Chet Huntley. So together they were Huntley and Brinkley, and they brought you the news every night on NBC, and they had a fairly long run together as co-anchors. They would trade off. He'd do a story, he'd do a story, he'd do a story, he'd do a story. And this is when the nightly news was kind of a big deal. Right? It was a big deal. You had three networks, and then you had the guys who were delivering you the news. And it really, and at that time, they were really looking for a certain type, right? And over on CBS, you had Walter Cronkite, who really Walter Cronkite turned out to be like a Luciferian, but but he was the sort of the stentorian grandfatherly figure who was able to tell you the news, good or bad, right? And you trusted Cronkite. ABC had a rotating cast of characters. They never really had somebody over a period of time that settled in. Like after Walter Cronkite left, I think Harry Reasoner checked in, but Dan Rather was the CBS News anchor for like 24 years. Cronkite for 19. So CBS didn't have a lot of turnover. Huntley and Brinkley were together for a long time. And eventually they wind up giving ground to Tom Brokaw, right? So let's take a look at David Brinkley's chart. He is the perfect news guy, right? He's a double Cancer, Sun-Venus conjunction in the first house. So what you're going to get, Brinkley was not bombastic. Back in the day, newscasters were not bombastic. They were generally calm. They generally had a sense of gravitas, right? They tried to deliver the news, whatever that was, in a fairly calm and uh, sort of looking for, I would say, slightly unattached fashion. But David Brinkley was somebody that you theoretically you could trust, right? Because he didn't have this kind of aggressive demeanor, and you could see this, right? Being a double cancer, and it's like, okay, yeah, all right, David, we're in. We trust you. The other thing that's interesting too is Saturn, and he's got Saturn in the third house in Virgo, and the third house is communication. And we had three major networks at the time, and Saturn in Virgo is dependable. And what do we have here with Saturn? We got a sextile with the ascendant. So that gave David Brinkley some gravitas. I mean, he, in a lot of ways, he has the perfect chart for a nightly news guy. He's not obtrusive. Um, he's, I mean, literally, he's connected to the U.S. sun, right? So they're serious, and he's born July 10th, so he's just 6 degrees off the U.S. sun. So as an individual, he's connected to the country. He becomes the voice of the country in a lot of ways. Now, what's interesting too is that he worked with Chet Huntley. So we have the Sun Venus conjunction. He had a partner that he did the news with. Now, Chet Huntley was a Sagittarius, so he's somewhere over here. He's somewhere over here in his chart. Uranus. So he also has some interesting things going on with Uranus trining his ascendant, and he has a Mars in Libra, which again, when we talk about Libra, the whole idea of fairness comes into play. So he has a Mars Uranus trine, which means that he's also going to be adapting and evolving with technology over time. And he did. I think he got to start at around the age of 20 as a newsman, and became really part of our daily ritual, right? If you sat down at night and you had dinner, the news was on, which is probably not a good thing. Probably not a good thing. But, he would, this is one of the guys that would spend a half an hour with dinner with you, right? Um, what else do we have here? Chiron and Aries up in the 10th house. So he's also one of the anchors that is delivering the daily news about Vietnam, right? That's the other thing. Those anchors during the 60s, they were basically setting up these stories where they had field correspondence over in Vietnam, which is something that you would never even become remotely close to today, right? Like if you had that model and you had a war correspondent in Ukraine, you'd be seeing somebody every single fucking night on the news in Ukraine talking about things. As a kid, you're sitting there watching this and like, how is this person not getting killed? Right? All this carnage and violence is happening around them. You can hear them like talk over everything. A lot of chaos, right? So Chiron and Aries up in the 10th house, and he's there for a lot of the Vietnam War stuff. And of course, Chiron was in Aries in 1968, even though they hadn't discovered Chiron yet. So that was interesting. He went through his Chiron return in 1970, which is still Vietnam War territory, right? We're still talking about it. Moon in Taurus in the 11th house. It's interesting that he has this south node there, which again tends to be more like groups and networks. But he has the moon there, and I think that the moon plays a pretty significant role in his 11th house and in the chart itself, because we have a kite pattern with the moon coming in and sextiling his ascendant and sextiling Uranus, and then we have this grand trine. I think David Brinkley was wired, astrologically wired for the job at the time. He was perfectly astrologically wired for the job at the time. The moon tends to be sort of the public psyche, right? When we get into the moon, especially at the top of the chart, It is the public psyche. That's what the moon represents. So clearly, he had a lot going on there. Now he does have this square with the moon, square Mercury, square Neptune, square Jupiter. I think David Brinkley, again, I don't know a ton about him, but I think he probably had to work to overcome shyness and introversion. I think that's what that lunar square is about. Also, I think there's a heightened degree of like this is a very sensitive dude. He's Cancer rising, he's got moon squaring Neptune. Doing the daily news for somebody like this, I think would be, I think in some degree challenging, um, because he would have to figure out how to desensitize himself in some ways, especially with that moon square to Neptune, right? Um, but I think he did really, really well in general. Mercury in the second house, so he used his voice to make a living, right? This is all about resources, physical resources, and a wide conjunction with Jupiter. So, and again, even though if you watched him, he was very flat and very deadpan. There is some degree of theatricality when you deliver the news. I would consider David Brinkley kind of he'd be more like a minimalist actor, somebody who doesn't do a lot. But when they do say something, it can be fairly emotive, right? It's almost like uh, there's kind of a dramatic persona that isn't ostentatious. And I think Brinkley conveyed that when he was newscaster. Uranus in the ninth house, and whatever stories broke, like overseas, right? David Brinkley was always more than likely right on it, right? And if he wasn't an anchor, this guy would have made a great foreign correspondent. So there you go, a little page of history. The late great David Brinkley. And you could say that he was either one of the greatest newscasters or propagandists of our time. And if you said both, you'd likely be right. All right. That's it. We're out of here. Look at that. Nice, economical 48-minute show. So if you feel like it, come join us over on 15 Minutes of Flame. The link is in the show description. And we will continue the conversation, and we'll get into the news of the day and other stuff. We also simulcast over on Rumble. So if you can't, if you want to be over there, you can be there over there. I know that there are some people who can't do Rumble because Rumble, like for instance, France won't allow Maria to watch anything on Rumble. So that's one of the reasons why I keep Boxcast alive and rolling. It's for those people who just can't access some of these other websites. And again, one of the things that I want to do is I want to thank you for your support, everybody who's bought me cups of coffee. It helps pay for things, right? Boxcast is not cheap. The internet here is not cheap. So supporting the show allows me to continue to do this on a daily basis. So I want to thank you for that. And it's a reciprocal relationship. It's like cancer. You're the yin, I'm the yang. Sometimes I'm the yin and you're the yang, right? Anyway, so thank you for that. I really appreciate that. I appreciate your presence more than you know. Take good care of yourself, treat each other well, and remember you've got everything you need inside of you. All right. Bye for now.